participants, kindly listen. At any instance, don't unmute your mic. Okay? Till the end, you have to mute your mic, then listen. At the end of the session, you will be given some time to ask some questions. At that time too, you have to type the messages through chat box. Our resource person will answer. So please mute your mic. Then don't disturb the speaker. Thank you. Hemanth sir, you can start the session.
Is my screen visible, Mrs. Sindhiya?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to everyone in India. Good morning, good afternoon to the rest of you, wherever you are. First of all, I have to say this. I'm really glad to be addressing an audience from SBK College in Aruppukottai, which happens to be my hometown. At this juncture, I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to Mrs. Sindhiya and also the principal, Dr. Muthuselvan. Now, let's roll. Okay, so today, first we'll be looking at the style of writing of William Shakespeare, and then we'll go into William Wordsworth, and then John Keats. No, I'm just kidding, guys. We're not going to look at any of these today. So this is not a literature class, so we will not be looking at literature. To be honest with you, most of you here may be more well-versed than me when it comes to English literature field. I'm not from English literature field, so I'm not going to be talking about English literature. However, something that I'm going to talk about today is that I will be speaking about communication skills and how to enhance your communication skills. And at the end of it, I will also be letting you know how you would be apply some of the skills in your daily life. And at the end of the presentation, you will also be able to take away a few things from this webinar that you'd be able to apply in your life. So remember, at the very end, you will have a few exercises that you're going to apply in your daily life from now on. So not a literature class, and we will not be talking about Shakespeare or Shelley today. If I could ask Mr. Kathiravan, in case I do see a few people scribbling on the screen, if that's possible to just get that cleared out. I don't know if there is an option to erase that. So I would ask people to please refrain from doing that. Okay, so let's get into this. So first of all, this is how the whole webinar is going to be structured. So I'd start off with an introduction of myself, and then we would get into the communication skills part, where first of all, we'll be looking at why should I even enhance my communication skills? Then we will move on to what are the things that I should do to be able to enhance my communication skills? So how do I do it? So why to enhance it and how do I enhance it? And in between, I really want to tell you a story. And that story is about myself, just my journey. How did I start? Where did I start? And where did I end up with? And what happened in between? And how did my communication skills help me get where I wanted to get to? And finally, we will conclude the webinar with a few tips for you. Okay, so let's move on. Introduction. Mr. Kathiravan, is that possible to just get these scribbles erased out of the screen?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, please. Awesome. So let's get ahead with this. I wanted to give you guys an idea on my background. So I started off in India, of course. I started off with TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. I was with them for about 4 years. Then I moved to Finland. I was with Nokia. And after that, I moved to Canada for my MBA. And after that, I worked with a bunch of companies. And currently, I'm with Home Depot, as Mrs. Sindhiya introduced. So this is just about my career. And basically, I have about 17 years of experience in the analytics field, data analytics field. And in addition to that, I also am working as a part-time instructor at. I'm also working as a part-time instructor at Schulich School of Business, which is part of York University in Canada. So honestly, we're not really going to talk about any of these today. We're not going to be talking about data and analytics. We will be talking about how did I get there? How did I get where I am right now? And what helped me get there? And specifically, how did my communication skills help me get there? And that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. Now, before we go into the meat of this conversation, I just wanted to know, now that I've introduced myself, I also wanted to see if I'd be able to get you all to introduce yourselves. Of course, we will not be able to unmute yourself and have you speak, but I'm just going to use this opportunity in the chat box. If you all can introduce yourself just by mentioning what your job title is. If you're already employed, just say what your job title is. If you're just a student right now, just put in on comments saying that you're a student. If you're a lecturer, if you're a professor, if you're a doctor, if you're an engineer, or if you're a homemaker, or if you're a business owner, just put just that in. No personal information. We don't need the name as is, but just let us know what background you're from or what your job title is. Okay, so I see a student here, assistant professor. This is just to give me an idea on who we have as audience today. So I'm just going to give it a few more seconds for people to type in the chat and introduce themselves. Okay, I see a few more students. I see consultants here. And as we have this, if we could have Mr. Kathiravan to just get these things erased, please, so that it's not distracting for me on the screen. I see research scholars, students, assistant professor. A lot of students. I also see people that are school students. I see somebody from 10th standard. Okay, awesome. Thanks for this. I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourself as well. If this was a presentation where I was able to see you guys in person, I think that'll be a different case. But yes, good to see that there are a lot of students, a lot of professors, assistant professors, consultants over here. Amazing. So now let's get into the conversation here. Let's see. I really want to take the next few moments just to talk about how did I get where I am right now, and how did my communication skills help with that? Okay, so let's start off with that. Why should you even enhance your communication skills? If I could request, please, everybody, please stay on mute. If you're not speaking, please stay on mute. Okay. So why should you even enhance your communication skills? Let's start off with this. Let's spend 1 minute just understanding what communication means and why do we even want to communicate? What does that even mean? What does it mean to communicate with someone? You have a point that you wanted to make. You have feelings that you want to share with another person, and you want to get a point across, and that's when you communicate. Or you have a bunch of facts that you want to share with someone else, and that's when you communicate. So you exchange information to someone, and that's when you communicate. Or you really wanted to understand something, you want to ask a question, and that's when you communicate. Or it could also be that you want to prompt an action, you want someone to do something for you, and that's when you communicate. Now you might wonder, is it only communication skills and communication per se? Is it only for students, or is it only for people with a professional background? Honestly, not. Communication skills are just for everybody. Even babies communicate. And if you think about this, how do babies communicate? Babies communicate by crying. And you might know this old saying, which goes, only a crying baby gets milk. So even a baby has to communicate that it needs milk, and only then it gets fed. So it's even important for babies to be able to communicate well. So the whole point here is that communication is for everybody, and not only for adults, not only for kids, it's just for everybody. And it's a common human trait that everybody has to master. Now that we have set aside the fact that communication is important for everybody, now let's look at why is it important to strengthen your communication skills. Let's imagine 3 different scenarios. The first scenario that I have here is career. And also imagine that you were poor in communication. Let's imagine that you do have a career. I mean, you do have a job. Somehow you got into a job, but your communication skills are poor. You have a great idea in your company. You have a great idea that you wanted to pitch, and you're in a meeting room like this. You're talking about your great idea, but unfortunately, because your communication skills are not that good, you're not able to sell that point. You're not able to sell that idea with the rest of the stakeholders in your company. So what happens is that might be a great idea. However, your colleagues are not going to take it because they don't really understand what you're trying to say, or you're not able to brand it well. You're not able to say it well. You're not able to express it well. So which means that your idea is never going to get into a reality anytime. Now, let's go to another scenario, making friends. You always know this. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this. Only the ones who are best at communication gets the most friends. Think about your friend circle. There is always one person that talks really good. And this person might be the most humorous one. This person might be the most jovial one that has the most number of friends. And you might be a very quiet person, or you might be somebody that is not that great with communication, and you might still be struggling to have friends. You might have a couple of friends, but you're not like that one person that is best at communication skills that has a huge following, right? And you would see that everybody would be just going behind that one person. So even from making friends, it's so important to be an interesting scenario. In your private lives, it is important that you're able to communicate well. Just imagine a situation where to a girl, you want to say those 3 words, but say, for example, if you're not able to express it, if you're not able to express yourself, it's not going to work, right? It won't work. So, kavidaya puriyanum. Appodan work out agum. Illa Onion padathila varra ambi madri mellavum mudiyama mudungavum mudiyama poirum. So it's even important for your private life, for your personal life as well, to be able to express yourself really well. So communication skills basically is just everywhere. You just need to excel in communication skills in all walks of life. And it's not only for your career, it's not only to be able to get a job, but it's just for everything in life. Now, I want to show you 2 quotes in this presentation. So let's go with the first one now. No matter what job you have in life, your success will be determined 5% by your academic credentials, 15% by your professional experiences, and 80% by your communication skills. Now you may think, what the hell? I spent 14 years in school. ரெண்டு வருஷம் நான் எல்கேஜி யூகேஜி படிச்சேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் 12 வருஷம் ஸ்கூல் படிச்சேன். மொத்தம் 14 வருஷம். அதுக்கப்புறம் இப்ப எஸ்பிகே காலேஜ்ல சேர்ந்து 3 வருஷம் ஆச்சு. இப்பதான் கிராஜுவேட் பண்ண போறேன். மொத்தம் 17 வருஷம் ஆச்சு. இந்த 17 வருஷம் என்னோட சக்சஸுக்கு வெறும் 5% தான் காரணமா அப்படின்னா, yes, that's actually true. So your academic qualifications and all that you've studied so far might just determine only 5% of your success. And 80%, it's a humongous figure. 80% of your success is going to be determined by your communication skills. I have this quote just to let you know, just to stress upon the fact that communication skills are probably one of the most important things that you have to be able to be successful in your life. Right? Now, before I get to, now that we have set aside why it is important to enhance your communication skills, I really want to get to a stage where I give you some tips on how to enhance those skills. But before we get there, I want to tell you a quick story. So I want to talk to you about my journey. So as I already said, my hometown is Aruppukottai. I hail from Aruppukottai, and I want to tell you a story about my journey from Aruppukottai to America. how did I move from Aruppukottai to North America? And how did life get me to America, to North America? And what are the things that I picked up on the way during this journey? So just like many of you, my family, myself and my family, we lived, and I hail from Aruppukottai. We lived in Nagar, went to SPK Boys High School, and that's me in that picture. Just like many of you, I went to SPK Boys High School as well. And I might have even gone to the same tuition centers, just like all of you. At school, in addition to all the subjects that I studied, I had a special liking. I had a passion for languages. When I say languages, I'm not talking only about English, also about Tamil as well. I had a passion for English and Tamil. So these languages really kept me hooked. Now, I went to TCS. I completed my engineering in IT. And once I completed my engineering, I got placed in TCS. So that honestly was my very first job. TCS was supposed to be my very first job, but my joining date was supposed to be in October. So I graduated in May, and I was supposed to join TCS in October. So I had 4 months of time in between. And I wanted to make sure that I used those 4 months of time really well. I wanted to utilize that well. So what I did, I applied for call center jobs. Remember, I already had a job in my hand. I graduated as an IT engineer, and I had a TCS job, but I still was looking for another job. And that's mainly because that was a call center job. And why would you even choose a call center job? Is that, I don't know how many of you know this, in a call center job, the first 2 months of your job is going to be on training. You will be trained really well on the first 2 months of your job on communication skills, just about how do you speak English? How do you speak English? How do you get a point across? How can you sell a product? How can you brand a product? And how can you convince people? And how can you enhance your accent? All of those would be trained. You would be trained on all of those on the first 2 months. And that's something that was just amazing for me. And that's why I applied for call center jobs. And I actually, it just so happened that my first job was with Alsec Technologies. So I got into a job just to enhance my communication skills, but not really for the money or not really for anything else, but just to enhance my communication skills. And I joined TCS as per plan in October. And after about a year after joining TCS, I became a team leader, thanks to not only my communication skills, of course, my hard skills as well, but definitely my communication skills helped me there as well. And I became a team leader, and I got to work in Finland. So I moved to Finland. I lived there for 2 years. So my first on-site assignment was in Finland. Moving on, I went to Canada to do my MBA. But remember, I had to do my GMAT, my TOEFL, before I would even qualify for a university like York University to get into the B school that I joined. With GMAT and TOEFL, communication skills was a huge component. English was a huge component in GMAT. In GMAT, it was 50% math and 50% English. And same thing with TOEFL, it's just 100% communication skills, right? So even there, my communication skills really helped now because these were a huge component. And then I completed my MBA after getting into the university. So in summary, I talked about myself in a few slides. Now, I just wanted to summarize everything. How did I get here? How did I get to where I am right now? From Aruppukottai to North America, as I said, how did I get here? If you were to think, was that only because of my communication skills? Of course not. You cannot just do things just with communication skills. As they say, vaayale vada suda mudiyadu. So you cannot just get by just with communication skills. And of course, you need many other things as well. So number one, determination. I knew what I wanted in my life, and I was ready to do whatever it takes to get there. So determination was something that I would say helped me get there. Second of all is enhancing my hard skills. When we say hard skills, we're talking about the job skills, the technical skills. It might not be technical as in IT skills, but it's just job skills. Whatever your job requires that you have, You are supposed to strengthen that. Without that, it's just not going to happen, right? So you need to be able to do your job well. And last but not least, enhancing your soft skills. And that's something that I did as well. In my case, I made sure that I enhanced my soft skills, which is my communication skills, to be able to get here. And if you were to ask me, had I not looked at number 3, even if I was great with my determination, I had a goal, I knew how to get there, and I also was enhancing my soft skills, my communication skills, it would still have been, it would have still gone waste if I had not had good soft skills. So communication skills is very important. Okay. Now that I've spoken about myself and my story, let's focus on how you can get here. So how do you enhance communication skills? I'm going to showcase you something called 4 C's, 4 C's of good communication. So how would you even say that someone is communicating well versus someone not communicating well? How would you make that? How would you make the distinction? And that can be done using the 4 C's that I'm going to show to you guys right now. Okay. So the 4 C's. When it comes to the 4 C's, the very first C is being clear. So clarity. Clarity is the most important thing when it comes to good communication. And you might think, how do I make myself clear? The first thing that you have to do is think before you speak. Can I ask people to stay on mute, please? Thank you. So the first thing that you have to do is to be clear. And how do you make yourself clear? How do you bring in clarity to your speech? Is that you have to think before you speak. You have to structure your sentence. You have to have the sentence created in your head first before you speak it out. And another thing that you could also do to bring clarity to your speech is also to see how other people speak. You can take inspiration from many other orators and speakers from on the internet. So you could just look on internet. I can also give you some examples of great speakers in Tamil. For example, Sugi Sivam. I think many of you or most of you might have known about Sugi Sivam. Look at the clarity he has. And look at the control of language he has. And another person is Niya Nana Gopinath from Vijay TV. Just look at how well he's able to communicate himself, communicate his thoughts, specifically his clarity. He's very, very clear, right? If I were to give you another interesting examples in English, you may have heard of Isha Yoga Sadhguru, and you should watch any of his YouTube videos, English videos, and you should look at the clarity he has, the clarity of thought he has. So you could definitely take inspiration from such people in terms of clarity of your communication. So that's number 1. Second thing is being concise. What do I mean by being concise? So you have to speak succinctly. So if someone expresses themselves in 10 sentences, you should be able to summarize that within 4 or 5 sentences. And it's basically about speaking to the point, just getting to the point and just saying what is necessary and clearing all the clutter. So being concise. Then comes being correct. So being right when it comes to grammar and also being right when it comes to pronunciation is also very important. Also remember, it is very important that you speak correctly because even if you may have the right points to say in a career, you're in a job, you're speaking to a colleague, you will be judged based on how you speak. And if you do not have your grammar right, and if you do not have your pronunciation right, you're going to be judged in a bad fashion. Right? Even though the content of what you're trying to say would be great, because you're not being right in terms of grammar and pronunciation, you might be judged lower than what you should be judged as. Okay, so grammar and pronunciation, very important. And number 4, out of the 4 C's is being coherent. So what does it mean to be coherent? You need to have logic. You really need to speak logically, right? If someone tells you something, you cannot be saying something totally irrelevant. It has to be coherent. It has to be logical and related and relevant to what was asked you. asked to you. So being coherent comes with putting a structure to your conversation, being logical and putting a structure to a conversation. What does it mean? You start off with what you want to say. Maybe you have a transition to your sentence. You have your second sentence, and then finally you end off with a summary of all that you said. And you need to have some kind of a structure to be able to have a coherent speech. So wrapping this up, the 4 C's of good communication will be clarity, being concise, being correct, and also having coherence in your speech. Okay. Now that we have defined what good communication means, let's talk about the 3 steps to achieve good communication skills. Right? Now, of course, I know that you want some takeaways from this presentation, and I wanted to leave you with 3 steps on how to enhance your communication skills. Here you go. The 3 steps that we are going to look at today would be listen, read, and practice. Looks simple, right? Listen, read, practice. That seems simple. Yes, it is actually simple, but you need to practice it every day to be able to make a difference in your life in terms of communication skills. So let's get into each of these steps one by one. Okay. The very first thing that you need to do to be able to communicate well is to be able to listen. You might be like, I don't understand this. Why should I listen to be able to communicate well? It's actually true. Only good listeners can be good speakers. Only if you listen well, you'd be able to speak well. And that's how it is. Have you been in any situation where you are in front of somebody that just keeps on speaking and speaking and speaking, blah, 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 but they just don't listen to you? It's not even a conversation, right? It's not even a dialogue. Someone just keeps on talking and they don't even listen to you. And that's not good communication. So you need to be able to listen well to be able to speak well, right? And some people just don't even listen to you. But what you really need to be doing is to listen to other people, listen and understand what they're trying to say, and keep your responses coherent to what they are saying. And that's something that is very important. And that's step number 1. Okay. Only if you master the art of listening, you would also be able to master the art of communication skills. Okay. Now, I have an exercise for you. From now on, every day from now on. So let's start off with today, this evening. You are going to spend 15 minutes of your time doing some kind of listening. And it could be listening to a radio. And again, in this case, in this presentation, we're talking about communication skills specifically to English. So let's stick with English. If you want to enhance your English communication skills, listen to radio. Listen to a radio, maybe news, English news. Or you could even watch somebody, as I said, you could watch somebody speaking in English on YouTube or in any TV channel or whatever. Or just pick a new TV series and watch it, right? Nothing like it. And even in my case, this is true. When I was in Finland, when I wanted to make sure that I'm able to communicate well, I heard about a sitcom, a situational comedy called Friends. This was a huge hit in North America, which is called Friends. Some of you might have already watched it. I don't know. But if you have not watched it, I would strongly suggest that you either watch it in a TV channel or you download it, you buy a DVD or whatever, but spend at least 15 minutes of your time watching something that would be interesting to you in English. Okay? So you're making it a habit starting today. 15 minutes listening to something in English. Step number 2, read something every day. You're going to spend at least 15 minutes of time reading every single day. Okay? And why should I read? I just wanted to talk. Why would I have to read to be able to talk? Right? There is a big connection between reading well and speaking well. Just like we said, listening is important to be able to speak. Reading is very important to be able to speak well as well. Right? And why is that? That is mainly because this will help you. Reading will help you increase your day-to-day vocabulary. Right now, you might be thinking, if you were to do a count, so if you were to do a math right now, just take a simple sheet of paper and just write down all the words in English that you know. Some of you might hit 500 words. Some of you might hit 1,000 words. Some of you might be under 100 words. It's possible, right? So if you pick up a book, an English book, an English novel or a newspaper or whatever it is, you will be getting to see new words every day. And this is how you're going to increase your vocabulary that you can use in your day-to-day speech. So this way, when you learn new words, you have so many new words that you could use at your disposal. Many times you'd just be stuck when you're in a conversation. You'd be stuck because you know what you want to say, but you can't find the right word because you don't really have a stash or a cache of words behind you. You need to have those words, and to be able to do that, you need to have a good vocabulary. You just need to be able to express something. You need to have 10 different words that you should be able to use at any time. So even if you forget some of those 10 words, you would still be able to use some out of those 10 words in a sentence. Right? Now, back to exercise again. So what exercise are you going to do starting today is you pick up on any English book. It could be just a comic book. So, we have a lot of comic books in Tamil, but we have lots in India, comic books in English as well. So pick up a Tinkle book, kids comic book, Tinkle, or you can take any kids magazine, any book for that matter. Or if you think that you're already advanced you could pick up Harry Potter or any kind of novel, to even just a regular newspaper, Hindu newspaper, Indian Express. Just pick up on anything and start reading. You're going to spend 15 minutes of your time every day reading something. And if you think we're saying, I don't really want to read the news, if you're into cricket, just go to the very last page, the sports page, and just read up on that 15 minutes. But the most important thing here is that it's not just about just reading the words. It's also about stopping wherever you do not understand a word. Just stop there, pick up a dictionary, and know what the meaning of it is, and try to use that word when you communicate with somebody. And that's how you're going to increase or enhance your communication skills. So the exercise that you're going to do is pick up on a book, any book, read about it 15 minutes every day. And you might even ask me, am I supposed to carry a dictionary with me every day? No, dictionaries are a thing of the past. So pick up your phone. Everybody has a smartphone these days. Just pick up your phone, open up Google, and just put in a word. So say, for example, if you want to understand the meaning of coherent, just say coherent meaning on Google, and it will give you something like this. What you're seeing on screen is something that you would get to see. You get to see the name of, the meaning of that word. You also get the similar words. And on top of that, you also have a speaker button. If you click on that button, it's also going to tell you how to pronounce that word. And this is going to be a great exercise going forward. So do not miss any word, any new word that you have come across while reading a newspaper or a book. Make sure to stop, know what the meaning of it is, and then you go back and you use it when you have your daily conversations with anyone. Make sure that you use it. Number 3, and the last step, practice speaking. This is the most important step. You may be like, I know many words. You know what? My vocabulary is great. I always read newspapers. I always read a lot of novels. So I know a lot of words. My vocabulary is great. It's all in my head. But if you don't speak, if you don't practice, you just cannot communicate. It's not going to work. Just having it all in here is not going to work because you haven't put it into practice. You haven't started speaking. You haven't let it out. So it's not going to work at all. So communication skills is definitely about writing as well, but it's mainly about speaking. So if you don't practice speaking, if you don't put it into practice, that's not going to work. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do going forward, starting today, is to speak to your friends or family in English. If English is something that you want to work upon, speak to your friends and family. You might say, sir, நீங்க வேற சார் சாதாரணமா என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் சாதாரணமாவே நான் பேசினா கேட்க மாட்டாங்க, இதுல இங்கிலீஷ்ல வேற பேசவா, நல்லா ஓட்ட ஆரம்பிச்சிருவாங்க சார் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவீங்க. கண்டிப்பா தெரியும். So if that happens to be the thing, what you have to do is that you don't talk to your friends in English. If that doesn't work, don't talk to your friends in English. Try to speak in English when you have conversations with your teachers at school or at school, at least during your English class. Just try to have a conversation in English with your teachers. It could be at school or it could be college, university, whatever. Right? And if that's not possible, join a club where you can practice speaking. There is something called Toastmasters Club. I'm not really sure if SBK has a Toastmasters Club, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of centers in India where you pay a small amount of fee, with which you'll be able to join Toastmasters Club. and where you can practice speaking. You can practice impromptu speaking, and that's something that's possible. I have been a part of Toastmasters Club, and it has helped me quite a bit. So join a club where it's safe for you to practice, and you also have other people that have the same goals just like you to practice speaking in English and enhancing your communication skills. If you say, sir, sorry, that's not going to work either, this is something that you must do. Pick up your phones again, install an app, regardless of whether you have an iPhone or Android. Install an app called Voice Recorder app on your phone. And with this, what you would be able to do is speak for, I'm saying 10 minutes here, let's pick up 15 minutes. 15 minutes on any topic every day. Make it a point, 7 p.m. I'm going to pick up my phone, open a voice recorder, and I'm going to speak on a new topic every day. Say, for example, today, I want to talk about cricket. I want to talk about cricket for 10 minutes to 15 minutes using a voice recorder. So just go to a room, shut yourself up, and then you're just going to speak about cricket, just on any topic, a new topic every day, and you're just going to speak about it and record it. No one's going to hear you, but you are supposed to go through this practice and record yourself. What do you do after? You listen to it again. Only when you keep a gauge on how you are speaking, only if you play it back, you'll be able to know how many mistakes you're making. And you can go back to those 4 C's that I mentioned. You can see whether you're being clear with your conversation, whether you're concise or you're just talking so much, or are you being coherent? And that's something that you'd be able to see if you're able to play it back for yourself. So record you speaking for 10 to 15 minutes every day, starting from today, using an app like this, and listen to it and see if you can make changes to the way you speak. Okay. This is going to be my final slide in terms of tips. And then I'm going to wrap up the session in the next few minutes. So 2 last tips for you. Okay. One is work on neutralizing your accent. And some of you might be thinking, accent? What do you mean accent? You might have heard of accents in Tamil, right? Madura Tamil nu irukku, Chennai Tamil nu irukku, Thuthukudi Tirunelveli Tamil nu irukku, Kovai Tamil nu irukku. So there are many such accents in Tamil. And just like you have accents in Tamil, you also have accents in English as well. What is an accent? Typically, when it comes to accents that you have for a foreign language like English, is that your mother tongue has an influence on the way you speak English. The way you pronounce words in English will have an influence. Your mother tongue is going to have an influence on the way you speak another language, a foreign language. Let's take an example. Okay. Check. I know most of you or all of you are on mute right now. You can check it right now. See how you utter the word elephant. Are you saying elephant or you're saying elephant? See, in Tamil, if you were to write the word elephant in Tamil, you would write it with the ye at the start. So we have ye. We don't have an e. We have a ye in Tamil. And that's why people say elephant. There are a lot of people, there are so many of us that say elephant. It's not elephant, it's elephant. Right? So see if your mother tongue is actually having an influence on English. Another example, MBA. Just try to say that yourself. Are you saying MBA or are you saying MBA? It's not MBA. In Tamil, if you were to write something like this, you would say a ye, MBA. But in English, it's not MBA. It's a different language. So it is supposed to be said as MBA, right? So it's MBA. So what does it mean? So make sure that Tamil is separate from English. You want to master your mother tongue as well, of course. But at the same time, you also want to make sure that you master your foreign language as well. And these 2 things should not influence each other. Your English should not influence your Tamil as well. And I want to say this at this juncture. So there are so many people in India that mixes up English and Tamil within a sentence, and that should not happen. There are, how many of you say but ana? What is but ana? So but has to be but when you speak in English. When you say ana when you speak in Tamil, you can't say but ana. I don't know what that means, right? So try not to mix up languages within a sentence. So specifically when it comes to accents, try to neutralize your accent and make sure that your mother tongue does not have an influence on the way you speak and utter English words. Number 2, work on enhancing your mother tongue. So basically, I'm saying you are supposed to focus on how to speak Tamil better. You'll be like, என்ன சார் சொல்றீங்க, நான் இங்கிலீஷ் பேசுறதுக்கு வந்தேன், இங்க வந்து நீ தமிழ் நல்லா பேச இங்கிலீஷும் நல்லா பேச ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கீங்க. I know that's exactly what you're thinking right now. It's actually true. If you're able to speak your mother tongue better, you'd be able to catch up on any language. And the reason behind that is that the steps to strengthen communication skills in one language is going to be exactly the same for another language. It's not different. The steps are exactly the same. It's just that you have to put the effort. You have to read, you have to write, and you have to listen in any language to be able to better it. So starting today, also make sure that you follow those principles that I mentioned for English, also for Tamil. So make sure that you stop and think before you speak in Tamil, and make sure that your pronunciation is right. Make sure that you're being clear and you're also being coherent when you speak in Tamil. As you enhance your mother tongue, you will see that your English is also going to become much better. It's as simple as that. Trust me. Okay. I have 2 more slides. I'm going to wrap this up. As I said, I had 2 quotes, and this is the second quote and the last quote that I want to say, that I wanted to go through. Take advantage of every opportunity to practice your communication skills so that when important occasions arise, you will have the gift, the style, the sharpness, and the clarity to impact other people. See how powerful this sentence is. You will have the clarity to impact other people. So we're talking about using communication skills, not for a job, not for your personal life, but to impact other people. Or you could say it's for all of that. So if you are able to impact other people, if you're able to influence people based on the way you speak, nothing like it. You are going to be such a powerful person when it comes to speaking. And that is where you really want to get it. Okay. So last slide, I promise I'm just trying to summarize everything that we learned today, specifically when it comes to the exercises that I gave to you. You might remember the 4 C's that I already mentioned, what would define good communication. But you are going to look at 3 steps that you're going to do from today to be able to enhance your skills, your communication skills. So number 1, listen. You're going to pick up on a TV series or a 15-minute speech from an inspiring speaker on YouTube or on TV. And you're going to spend 15 minutes just listening. Then you're going to read a book or a newspaper for 15 minutes every single day. And then you're going to speak in English to your friends. And if your friends are saying, hey, English pesadra, if that happens, don't speak to them, but you're going to record on your phone for 15 minutes on any topic, going forward every day, 15 minutes. And I promise you guys, in the next 6 months, if you were to follow this simple principle of 14 minutes, if you invest 45 minutes in total, 15, 15, 15, every day, you will be able to enhance not only your communication skills, but your communication skills will also help you enhance your overall life as well. So that's all I had. Thanks, everyone. I just also wanted to make sure that there is some way to for you to stay in touch with me. I was thinking about a couple of things. You can stay in touch on LinkedIn with me, but in case if you would like to, you could also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. My YouTube channel does not have to do anything with English as such. I am, as Mrs. Sindhiya mentioned earlier, I do have videos on our Choras, on our Pandyas, and all of our Tamil kings. I have videos on Tamil and also in English as well. But stay connected. I have about 30,000 subscribers already. But I think right now we have about 200 people that I see as participants. I want to make sure that I have at least 100 people that subscribe to my channel today. So stay in touch there. I make sure to comment, respond to your comments. At the same time, if you'd also like to get connected to my professional community, stay in touch on LinkedIn as well. Thanks, everyone. So over to Mrs. Sindhiya.
Thank you, sir, for this fruitful session. I hope this will be a good platform for us to enhance our communication skills. Yes, participants, if you have any doubts to clarify, you can type those things in the chat box. Our resource person will answer your questions. You are most welcome. But don't unmute your mic and ask. Just type the messages in the chat box. It's a kind request.
Mr. Sindhiya, I would say we could take maybe 1 more minute just to see if you're able to get questions, and you can pick up on any of those questions, and you can just say that out, and I can answer those questions.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. We will wait for 1 more minute.
Okay.
There are many feedbacks, but there is no question.
Maybe I should pick up on something that I just saw, Mr. Sindhiya. I did see one question here. Someone's asking how to improve communication skills. I think I spent the last 40 minutes just talking about that. I'm going to take another question. So someone's saying, is there any club that I can join where there is no fees? I want to enhance my communication skills and I want to join a club, but is there a club where there is no fees? I talked about Toastmasters Club. You can look up on Toastmasters Club. Go online and just search for Toastmasters Club, and I'm pretty sure there'll be something. If not in Aruppukottai, it might be in Virudhunagar. I'm not sure. There are also virtual clubs that they have as well, but I think there should be some free clubs as well. See, even if you don't have a club like that, I would suggest just get in touch with some of your friends. I don't know in what profession you are in, or maybe you're looking for a job already. You can have 4 or 5 of your other friends that might also have the same goal as you. They might want to get a job, or they might just want to improve their communication skills. Just get in touch with them. Sit with them, maybe sit with them in person, or maybe connect on Zoom or something, or Google Meet. Spend half an hour with them every week, just talking. It's just speaking in English. Whatever you would speak to them typically, just try to speak with them in English, and that actually could help. It's just that you want to make sure that you do it regularly, and doing it regularly is very important so that you'll be able to enhance your skills.
Sir, there is one more question from Meher Nisha. As a Tamil medium student, how to enhance my soft skills? Is there any easy way?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So who is this from? Who asked this question?
Meher Nisha, she's a student, I think, guys.
Okay. So Meher Nisha, I'm going to tell you this. தமிழ் மீடியம் படிக்கிறது ஒரு தப்பான விஷயம் இல்லை. தமிழ் மீடியம் படிக்கிறது ரொம்பவே ஒரு நல்ல விஷயம். அப்ப ஆனா நீங்க கேட்ட ஒரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா, இங்கிலீஷ்ல படிக்கிறது, இங்கிலீஷ் நான் பேசுறது எவ்வளவு ஈஸின்னு கேக்குறீங்க. So how easy is it to learn a new language? It's not easy. Mother tongue is something that we just learn. We don't usually put a lot of effort to learn a new language. I mean, to learn our mother tongue, because that's something that we were born with. அம்மா அப்பா பேசினாங்க, அப்படி நம்ம பழகணும். தனியா எஃபர்ட் போடல. அப்ப இங்கிலீஷ்ல இங்கிலீஷோ பிரெஞ்சோ என்ன ஒரு ஹிந்தியோ என்ன ஒரு லாங்குவேஜா இருந்தாலும் நீங்க அதுக்குன்னு தனியா எஃபர்ட் போட்டாதான் முடியும். So just focusing on the word that you said, how easily can I learn? Is it going to be easy? It's not going to be easy, because at school all of your subjects would have been in Tamil, right? So it's Tamil medium, so everything would have been in Tamil. So you need to make sure that you put additional effort to be able to learn English. And as I said, all those tips could be of help to you, but if not, I think you might also need to put some more additional effort. Maybe just get a book for yourself. There are a lot of books available. Even there's a book called, I remember back in the times, there used to be a book called English in 30 Days. I think the publisher's name was Balaji, I guess. Pick up on any book like that. Start off with increasing or enhancing your vocabulary. Learn new words every day. Put it into practice and you'll get there. So it needs some effort. That's it.
Sir, another interesting question from Dhanalakshmi. Any tips that can help us to understand the speed of foreign accent or just practice can help it?
Okay. So this is to listen to someone speaking in foreign accent? Is that what it is? Mrs. Sindhiya, can you repeat that question?
Yes, sir. Is there any tips that can help us to understand the speed of foreign accent?
Okay, I got it right. Okay, thanks. So, India karanga English liye fast pesna kashtamā irukku. Foreign karanga fast pesna eppadi puriyudhu. I think that's how I'm going to read that question. So it definitely could be hard. Something that I did for myself. I had a similar issue, and I also see that someone is asking a question on how to prepare for TOEFL exam. I'm going to mix both of these questions together. I took up my TOEFL exam, and I had a few challenges. One of the biggest challenges that I had was to listen or just understanding someone speak. And I was born in India as well, right? So I did have challenges in understanding someone else speak, specifically with a foreign accent, specifically with people have accents in European accent or American accent, and the speed that they go with. So you need to do two things. One is you need to be able to understand the words that they speak. Every people from every country, though they might be speaking English, the words that they use might be a bit different, and the pronunciation might be different as well. For example, let's take the word bottle. Right? In India, we say bottle. Right? In Britain or in UK, they say bottle. In America or in Canada, they say bottle. See how different it is. So how would you know about it? First of all, you need to know that there is a word called bottle. So you need to have that vocabulary. You need to be knowing the word before you can even identify that they uttered that word. Number one. Second thing is you have to be watching stuff, right? You have to watch people speak that language in such a speed. So I would strongly suggest that you watch movies. If you're not somebody that watches Hollywood movies, try to watch Hollywood movies. Even if it's a simple animation movie, kids movie, that's fine. Just start off with that. And maybe you could also start off with having subtitles. You watch a movie along with subtitles. That way, you're able to see what you're understanding and what's actually being played as you watch. So that could be useful.
Balasandil asked one question, sir. Is there any app for the betterment of communication?
I suggested one app that is not for communication as such, but I'm saying you can use voice recorder to be able to record yourself. But there are many apps. Try looking up on Google Play. You'll find a lot. If you want to just increase your vocabulary, I would say there are a lot of crossword puzzles that you would find on the internet. There is even a game called Hangman. I don't know how many of you know about this. A hangman is a game where you're just supposed to guess the letters, the missing letters. With that, you would be able to come up with you would be able to guess the full word. There are many such games that you could use, puzzles that you could use to be able to enhance. There are also many apps that you could use that provides you notifications with new words every day. So you learn one new word every day. You could also use that. I think there is an app called Dictionary.com or just Dictionary app. Just install that. And in addition to being able to look up for new words and their meanings, you will also be getting notifications on new words every day. And you can use that.
Another question, sir. What type of game events can be conducted inside the classroom to improve communication skills?
Mm-hmm. Very good question. I like this. Remember I said I was part of the Toastmasters Club where we would speak. That is something that I really liked. Something that you could do is, this is not a game. What you could do is that you could have a prepared speech. So you could say, next week I'm going to speak on a particular topic, and I would practice for it, and I would speak in front of people, right? So that's public speaking. When it comes to games, this is something that we would use to play. We would write in a chit. So say for example, there are 10 people that you want to play this game with. So you take 10 chits of paper, and you write any topic there, right? So let's say, for example, if I were the Prime Minister of India, and then you just fold it and then just put it in there. And then next chit might say, if I were the superstar of Tamil Nadu, and you just put that chit. So basically, someone would just pick one of the chits out of the lot, and say, for example, if it says, if I were the superstar of Tamil Nadu, what would I do? So you are supposed to imagine that you're Rajnikant and you're supposed to speak, right? And this is called impromptu speaking. Impromptu speaking basically means that you don't have any preparation. It's just offhand speaking. You don't have any preparation. Someone gives you a topic and you should be able to speak about it. And that's a great experience. And it's also a lot of fun when you play among other people that are at the same level as communication as you. So impromptu speaking or offhand speaking with topics written down on a chit could be something that could be a lot of fun.
One student called Sam Titus, he has asked one question: how to overcome physiological struggles while communication?
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's an interesting question. I would like a clarification from Sam. Mr. Sam, I don't know what you mentioned or what you meant by physiological struggles. I think you meant psychological struggles. I'm not sure what you meant. Physiological struggle. I don't know if you would have trouble with the body as such. But I'm just going to take it as psychological struggles. So I'm going to assume that you're saying, I really want to speak. I know how to speak. I have my vocabulary. I am doing all of the things that I'm doing right now. But when it comes to speaking at class, I know everybody is watching and I can't speak. Right? If that's the case, if you are shy and if you want to overcome the fear of public speaking, you need to practice. Right? Nothing like it. So practice is all that you need to be able to do this. Practice within yourself, meaning record yourself and speak. There is nobody that is listening to you. So you don't have to be fearing about anything. Just shutting the door of your room and you're just going to record yourself speak, right? So you don't have to be worried about anything. So you can just casually do a recording of you speaking. Next step is to try speaking to a smaller group, maybe just to 3 people. And then you slowly start increasing it. And that's how you can overcome psychological struggles or overcome the fear of speaking to other people in English.
Another one person asked, could you repeat the name of the dictionary app? I think dictionary.com is it.
Yeah. So this dictionary.com is the name of the site. And the name of the app is just dictionary. If you don't like that one, just try these ones. So dictionary is an app. The name of the app is just dictionary. You could also try Collins Dictionary. There is another one called Collins Dictionary. I think it's spelled with one. I can't remember whether it's 1L, 2Ls, but it's Collins Dictionary. You can try that out. You can also try out Oxford Dictionary. It's the go-to, right? When it comes to dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, just go ahead with that as well. And I think most of these apps, specifically Oxford, has that as well. When you look up for a meaning, you'll also have a button where you just click on that button where it just speaks it out. So you will also be able to know how to pronounce that word. So you can use any of those apps.
Then Shanmuga Preeti, she is an assistant professor, I think. She has asked one question: how can you improve communication between management and the employees by using polite or request word? I think she is asking your experience. How can you improve communication between management and the employees?
And this is within the college setting? Management and employees within a college, or is this in a professional setting, in a company?
She did mention, sir.
She didn't mention that? Okay. Okay, so I don't know if it's a Muthuselvan. It's in profession. How can you improve the communication?
Profession is,
Okay.
she is asking regarding profession.
Mm-hmm. How to enhance that? And she's also saying polite at the same time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So something that I'm going to say is that not in every profession we use English, right? I need to get that straight. So if you get a job in Aruppukottai, say for example, you work somewhere in Aruppukottai, you don't need to speak in English, right? There is no need of speaking in English for that. Right? And I'm going to assume that this question is for something like in an IT company. If you want this an IT company, you are having to speak in English because your customers, your clients are speaking in English as well, right? So that's the reason why you want to speak in English. There is no other reason. ஏன் ஒரு பழக்கடைக்கு போய் இங்கிலீஷ்ல கேட்குறேன், கேன் யூ கிவ் மீ 2 oranges? எந்த பழக்கடையிலையும் போய் இப்படி கேட்கறது நம்ம. அது கேட்கறது வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஐடி கம்பெனிலையோ ஒரு ஆஃபீஸ்லயோ தான் கேட்க வேண்டியிருக்கு. So in such a case, how do you improve the communication between the management and the employees would be, you just have to, so first of all, you just have to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do in your job. You first of all need to shine in your job, in what you're supposed to do, right? If you're doing your job well, you know your job well, and you're doing your job well. So that's something that's very important. Once you have that, your management is going to have a lot of trust on you, and they would know that this is somebody that deserves. And then the communication part will automatically be taken care of. I did give you tips on how to speak better English, how to enhance your English as such. But before you could make sure that the communication skills between employees and management becomes much smoother, for it to become smoother, you want to make sure that you do your job well. And that itself will take care of the communications between both of these sides becoming better.
Yes, Vasanta Rani, she has asked one sensitive question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
She has studied up to 12th standard only in Tamil medium. Then while entering into the college, she is afraid of speaking or listening in English. And how to overcome those things?
It just so happens, Sindhiya, I also got to see that exact message. So Vasantarani, நீங்க தமிழ்லயே சொல்லணும்னு சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. 12th வரைக்கும் தமிழ்ல படிச்சுட்டு காலேஜ்ல இங்கிலீஷ்ல பாக்குறதுக்கு பயமா இருக்கு. கண்டிப்பா பயமா இருக்கும். இன்னும் ஒரு கொஸ்டின் கேட்கிறேன். இப்ப நான் என்ன எடுத்துக்கலாமே, நிறைய படி தாண்டி தான் வந்திருக்கேன் இங்க. இப்ப இது வரைக்கும் நான் இங்கிலீஷ் மீடியமா வச்சுக்கோம். நான் இங்கிலீஷ் மீடியம்ல நான் 12th வரைக்கும் படிச்சிருக்கேன். திடீர்னு காலேஜ் வந்து நான் நார்த் இந்தியால படிக்கிறேன். நார்த் இந்தியால டெல்லியில படிக்கிறேன்னு வச்சுக்கலாம். டெல்லியில காலேஜ் ஏதோ ஒரு விஷயத்தினால இங்கிலீஷ்லயே எந்த காலேஜ் இல்ல, ஹிந்தியில மட்டும்தான் இருக்கு. நான் என்ன பண்ணுவேன்? அதே தான் பண்ணணும். என்ன கஷ்டம் நம்ம இங்கிலீஷ் படிக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன கஷ்டப்படுவோமோ அதே கஷ்டம், அதே எஃபர்ட்ஸை நான் கோ த்ரூ பண்ணிதான் ஆகும். இதுல என்ன ஒரே விஷயம்னா, இதுல நீங்க தமிழ் மீடியம் படிச்சனால இங்கிலீஷ் காலேஜ்ல படிக்கிறது கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. அதே இது நான் இங்கிலீஷ் மீடியம்ல படிச்சுட்டு ஒரு ஹிந்தி காலேஜ்ல எல்லா புக்கும் ஹிந்தியில கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா எனக்கு பயமா தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல், டு நாட் வரி. டோன்ட் ஜஸ்ட் கீப் தட் ஃபியர் அசைட். உங்களுக்கு பயம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா நீங்க ஒரு படி முன்னாடி வைக்க முடியும். ஸோ கீப் தட் ஃபியர் அசைட். தட்ஸ் அ நம்பர் 1 step. So keep that aside first. Keep that fear aside, and first and accept the fact that it's going to be hard for you, right? அத முதல்ல உள் வாங்கிக்கோங்க. கண்டிப்பா கஷ்டமா தான் இருக்க போகுது. கஷ்டமா தான் இருக்கும். அந்த பயத்தை ஓரத்துல வச்சிருங்க. கண்டிப்பா கஷ்டமா இருக்க போகுது. நான் என்ன பண்ணலாம் இதை பத்தி? கஷ்டமா இருக்கு, நான் இதை எப்படி நான் படிக்கலாம் நான் பார்த்துக்கிறேன். அது என்ன பெரிய இந்த லாங்குவேஜா? எனக்கு தமிழ் நல்லா பேச தெரியும், அது எப்படி ஒரு புது லாங்குவேஜ் நல்லா பேச முடியாம போயிருமா அப்படிங்கறது யோசிங்க. And also put all those things that I mentioned in this presentation. Just put all of those steps. For someone like you, those 15 minutes of time that I mentioned for those 3 activities are very, very important. உங்களுக்கு பயம் போகணும்னா, பயமா இருக்குன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தீங்கன்னா, nothing is going to happen. No miracles will happen. You need to accept the fact that this is new to you. This is a new language. And for you to be able to overcome that fear, you need to put efforts to be able to come out of that.
Sir, I think you have answered for prominent questions. There are some repeated questions.
Okay, then if that's the case, we could finish the Q&A.
Yes, sir. If it is okay for you, we will end up this question answer session.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for the opportunity, and I hope everybody enjoyed this session.
Yes, really we enjoyed, sir. Next, I invite Mr. K. Muthumurugan to deliver the vote of thanks.
Very good evening to one and all present here. On my behalf, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the today's chief guest, Mr. Hemanth Thiru, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. The entire session is very interesting and very useful to us, sir. Today's scenario, all we need are communications. Through these sessions, we know that how to develop communication skills and what the importance and why we need communication skills, how to enhance and why to enhance communication skills. So especially for the students, it's very useful for the students. So thank you very much, sir, for giving the valuable informations. Next, I thank to our secretary for his support to conduct this session. Thank you, sir. Next, I thank to our principal, Dr.N. Muthuselvan, to motivation and encouragement to conduct a successful session. Next, I thank the head of the department, Mrs. Sindhiya, to arrange the wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I thank the English department faculty members for their support. This program is completed successfully. Thank you so much. Next, I thank the faculty members and the participants from the various college. Thank you for your participations. And finally, I thank you everyone for your cooperations. Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck to you all.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. You can fill the feedback link. Then you can get your certificates. Thank you, sir. We will meet in another great occasion. Thank you. Thank you very much. One and all present here.
Recording stopped.